a brief introduction of Maazi. His biography is so big, so I'm just going to give us a brief. So Maazi Okoro is a linguist, Igbo language expert, American Sign Language interpreter, a translator, and an author of over 60 Igbo books in different genres of literature. He was the first BBC Igbo translator and has worked as a translator for different national and international organizations like UNESCO and the United Nations, as well as a translator for National Bureau of Statistics and the World Bank. He holds a Bachelor of Arts in Linguistics and Igbo Studies from the prestigious University of Nigeria and Nsukka, and subsequently trained on film subtitle and translation by the Newcastle University and the University of West Scotland, UK. He featured in a movie and coached the first actor who acted the first movie ever produced by a Nigerian with American Sign Language. And that's a film produced by Onyeka Onwelue, where he translated the movie and did the voiceover. As an undergraduate, his published books were used for exams, both for undergraduate and postgraduate levels. He has published books used to set examinations for them. He even used his own book to write his exam in school, especially in his third year. So his interviews have been aired on different radio and TV stations, both locally and internationally. Maazi Ogbonnaya is the American Sign Language interpreter for Talking Health with Dr. Laz, which is aired on AIT. He's the sign language interpreter for the African Economic Congress, interpreting over 42 speeches, including that of the CBN governor, Sterling Bank MD, and 4 African countries. He's currently the translations director of Abibiman Publishers UK. He's also signed by Groit Lounge Publishing Company in Canada to publish his Igbo books across North America. And I have to also add that in his zeal to promote Igbo language and culture, Maazi has a website called www.igbotic.net. Go to that place. It's a hub, a very great platform for you to learn Igbo from birth to death. The packages there are such that you can engage and learn Igbo at any level, whether you don't even know how to pronounce A to any other thing. So I advise us today, especially those of us in diaspora, is a very good medium for your children to learn. That's the man we have today. His name is Maazi Okoro. We welcome you to Igbo Nation. Maazi, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. But I'm honored to be here today. It's been a while. I will be postponing our discussion because of this research. For some weeks now, I've been in Kogi State, going from one village to another, trying to discover our people. And to be frank, I was shocked what I saw. Yeah, what I saw there, I doubt if there's any book such thing has been documented, because these guys, they are pure Igbo. I asked them, did you migrate from anywhere to this place? They said, no, this had been our ancestral land. So and the issue of politics, some of them, if they identify themselves to be an Igbo, of course, their political career in that state has ruined, just like that. So the only way for them to stay, they will now claim Igala. The only way you will now engage them in different discussion that will be open up to you. So it's a serious problem. And now Igala is trying to claim that they are owner of those land, and that is why some of our people will now say, well, we are Igbo people in Igala land. That is, doesn't sound, well. Igbo people in Igala land, I don't understand. That was why I had to trace the origin of Igala. How did they Where did they come from? Igala. These guys came from Taraba, Ukari, in Taraba State. So from Ukari, they came and settled at a place called Amagede. If you look at even Amagede itself, Amagede sounds Igbo, right? Under, Benue. Of course, I'm yet to come to Benue. That is my next research, Benue. In fact, the information I have for Benue, there are a lot of Igbo people in Benue State. It's not even the ones in the close to Ebonyi State. We're talking about the Otukpo area, coming to Obadigbo. Okay, that's another one. So I'll come to that, sure. So now these guys came and settled at Amagede, and from Amagede, they now moved and extended to Eda. Before going to Eda, there were already people who lived in Eda, and among the ethnic groups that lived in Eda, Igbo were there, Yoruba, Benin, in that area. So this guy now came and now joined the already existing people. Of course, those days, you are free to live anywhere you find yourself. You can migrate, go to any empty land and settle. Nobody will disturb you. And people were living in peace. Of course, when they came, they started intermarrying with the Igbo in that neighborhood. This is why I have problem with people saying that Nsoka people came from Igala. That is insulting. And the funny thing is that those people we claim they were Igala people that migrated and settled in Igbo land and they are speaking Igbo, their culture is Igbo. They are not Igala. These were already the original Igbo who were there before this guy now came. So when they now came, they now merged with the Yoruba, with the Benin they found there, and also the Igbo who were already there. They now merged with them. So by merging with them, that now gave into Igala language. That's why you look at Igala language, you see a lot of Igbo lexicons in Igala language. Even up to now, Igala still have Eke, Ore, Afo. And the other one is Ede. They call it Ede. That is the, that is one for it. So now, look at it this way. They have a lot of things in common with Igbo language. Look at the lexicon. The words, some vocabularies are the same. Even names, they started bearing the same name with Igbo. They intermarry. And now, when people now tell me that Igala people left Igala and live in Enugu Ezike, I wanted to know why. Then what did I do? I started tracing from Obolafo. I stopped at Obolafo. First of all, I moved to Oda in Enugu Ezike. From Oda, I moved to Amufie. From Amufie, I moved to Grute. I was taking something from Grute, and I moved to Omeda. I was like, this name Omeda sounds somehow. This Omeda must have something in common with Eda in Kogi State. And Eda is now the claimed land of Igala people. That is when the Ata Igala stays, right? Igala claimed the original the owners of Eda. So I now ask, why is it that we have Omeda in Enugu Ezike? Remember, I before this time, I had no idea. I just saw Omeda. I was like, there must be a relationship between this place. And I stopped. I didn't go anywhere again. I stopped there. I stayed in Enugu Ezike for some days. I wanted to research if there is a connection between them and anyone in that locality called Eda in Kogi State. Yes, that led me to a community, Umushene is under that Omeda. And I learned that these guys, they still had Umushene in Eda. Some of them migrated, some now left Umushene in Eda and came to Enugu Ezike and settled in Enugu Ezike and multiplied. They're under Omeda. And they still retain that name, Omeda, Eda in Kogi. Okay, I was like, wow. So I now ask again, do you have any relationship with these guys in Kogi State? Do you still have any relationship with them up to now? They say, of course. That every year during Iriji Festival, New Year Festival, they always come from Omeda. They always come from Omeda from Eda in Kogi State to Omeda in Enugu Ezike. When they now bring palm oil, and wine, yam, and other things. So that the reason is, okay, the question is, why are they bringing all these things to these people? Okay, I asked them. They now say that they left their land there, their portion of the land. The elderly ones traveled, migrated to the place called Enugu today and settled and left the younger ones there. That is why anybody from Umushene in Enugu anytime he goes to Ida, he must first take kola nut before anyone in Ida, no matter who you are in Ida. So these are the this land you guys left there, is it Igala? They say no, there's nothing concern them because this has been their ancestral land. And up till now, their brothers from there now bring produce from the land every year to bring to their brothers. Say, hey, this is the portion of, this is part of gain of what you left in your land. In olden days, this thing has been a culture over the years, a tradition. It it keeps on repeating itself annually. They always come and give their brothers what they left, their portion of the produce of their land. So, okay, now I now ask again. When you guys left, okay, I want to know, those of you in English, do you speak Igala? They say no, there's no anything like Igala lexicon in their language. Okay. And actually, like I said, I go to Idara, I will still come back to English. This took me, before I started making announcement on social media, I've been there. I was already there before making announcements that I was doing research. I was already there researching for some time. So, as I was going to find out, I noticed that these guys, they are Igbo. But because of the location of where they are, identifying themselves as Igbo. Of course, they are rejected. They will not even be accepted by our people because it's a thing that have no state. At the same time, they will not also accept the fact that they will now deny. Cannot deny the Igala-ness, so to say. Some of them claim Igala, even when their name is Chinedu. They say they're Igala. It's only when you have a one-on-one talk with them, and first of all, they want to know your motive. Like in some communities I went to, I was surrounded by bad boys. They said that I was a spy. So in that situation, I had to use street sense. So I had to use street sense, settle them, find them some money. I told them I know, say, "Now pass me." I say, "Man, just man, come fast you now. Don't be saying I need to know. I use this for buy drink." That was how I, they were even telling me that they can even show me where I can lodge, hotel I can stay. If I want any information, they will give me. And seriously, they gave me important information because one of them told me, "Bros, as you can see, we're in North Central, Abi." Say yes. But let me tell you the truth. You see all of us here. Our mama, na Igbo women. All our papa we born us here, na Igbo women born them. What's in that one they tell you? That is one of them asked me. Already, I already know what is going on. Okay, now that is it. So the issue is that the Igala people are not the original owner of that place they're claiming, especially those areas connected to Soka. They might. How would I call it? There's something they had, that is absolutely, of course, you see, Igbo people cannot colonize anybody. So there is never a history of Igbo people colonizing anybody. But Igala had that attitude. The same thing with Edo, that is Benin within days, which I will still talk about that. So now when they came, they brought a lot of things, and those days there was something nobody even understand what is going on. There was kind of intermarriage. They started marrying their neighbors. They started marrying those Igbo people they met there. There was an intermarriage. They started to soak all these kind of things. There was a kind of intermarriage between them. That is why we now have some communities that speak both Igbo and Igala, kind of a bilingual communities. We have them there, right? So now that is just one part of it. And now I went around it. I noticed that some places are purely Igbo community. They didn't migrate to. They didn't migrate go anywhere. That place had been their ancestral land.
Okay, now when I got to Onadu, although it's under Igbo, is a South local government area in Igbo State. Just Onadu and Apaya. Look at Onadu, look at Apaya. And this one is claiming Kogi. Why the same blood, the same people? This one is claiming they are Kogi people. So now, I now went to that Apaya. First of all, the first place I went to was Agbedo. Agbedo has a market called Ori Apanya. Ayori. I went to the market. Like all this, the research is not just knowing about people. I want to understand everything. The market. What is going on in the market? What language are they communicating? I was pricing things. I know it's English. I feel like sometimes I would dress like a village boy, a village scout, just to kind of reason with them and get the kind of information I want. So I'll be like, hey, I went to even my press yam. I even pressed for yam. I had some videos. Of course, I will still have a lot of content to put up about this research. What I posted is just a snippet, just a little thing. I am yet to even to elaborate on the research, because we need to document this not just for now, but for generations to come. Let them know what is going on. There's a lot of politics going on in Nigeria, which Igbo people are sleeping. Seriously, Igbo people are sleeping. Since I published the research, these guys have been fighting up and down, coming to my inbox to insult me. But I know why they are doing so. So they have been threatening these Igbo guys in their midst. They have been threatening them. Even some of them now started talking. It's true, we are Igbo. I don't know why they're calling us Igala. They started attacking them. Even go to their inbox to threaten them. So that is what is going on. That shows you there is something these guys are hiding. And that thing they are hiding is they don't want anything Igbo to be mentioned as a tribe in Kogi. That is why this thing they have been hiding this thing. So they don't want it. They don't want to hear anything. The only thing they want to hear is Igala. That is why you see an Igbo man who had been in his father's house telling you that we are Igbo. I know that you are Igbo, but we are in Igala land. Which Igala land? Okay, in order to let it not be as if I make up a story. Okay, what did Ata of Igala say? Of course, I mentioned that in the research. What did Ata say? Ata confirmed the fact that they migrated from Ukari in Taraba State. And he even mentioned those places that they now settle at Amagede. After the Benue River. From there, they now came to Eda. That means Eda was already existing. Eda was already existing. I'm quoting the man Babatin. He said, talking about the origin of Igala people, a sizable group migrated from Ukari in Taraba State, from where they came to Benue along the river Benue and continue very close to the confluence at a place called Amagede by River Benue, and slightly down from Amagede, that was to Eda, and they settled there. And there, they met a sizable population of the Yorubas and the Benins, and to some extent, some Igbo. So the migrant population of Wakari merged with them and produced a language called Igala. This is what their Ata said. Ata is like their Oba or their Obi, just as we have Obi of Onitsha. So their own is called Ata Igala. And the settlement of Ata Igala is in this Eda we are talking about. And look at what the man said with his mouth, that they came to Eda and met some Yoruba. That is why we have some Yoruba people in Kogi State. He's telling you something. We also have some part of Benin, Edo, in language. That is why Igala language is kind of a combination of kind of languages, so to say. Okay, now they start dispersing to different parts of other side, and then there was nothing like state creation, of course. Okay, so this now gives all the information that it was already Igbo people in Eda before this guy came, who are forming Igala today, and colonized them. I'm using the word colonization. There was somebody like Professor Fibo wrote extensively about the Igala influence on northern Igbo. To a point, he started pushing narratives. And now some people now believe that Nsukka people came from Igala. And if there's any community, people migrated from this part of Igbo people now called Kogi or Igala. Those ones who migrated from this side and now settled in any part of Igbo land, as not on the Igala Deba. Yeah, no lie. Even these places, you say, no, even on the Igala. Oh, okay, I'm still coming to. I'm just, this one I'm mentioning is won't close to any West. I'm still coming to Anambra. That one is okay. So that is a topic on East Coast. Okay, now that is it about the data settlement. So that means there are Igbo people in either area, and they bear the same name, the same answer Yobo, they answer Chinedu, they answer normal Igbo names. These guys are doing. If you see them, their behavior, their attitude, they are pure Igbo. Even their spirit of hustling, they are pure Igbo. All right, so now, when we're talking about Igala influence, like I said, it was the position of Igala culture. Ndị Igala is young, they are known for this. And it's Yajong, one and Wajong, and I told Igala Ojo. If you go to Kogi State and you're talking about then I told you, of course, Igala. And I told Igala Ojo. If it's Benue, we talk about thief. Or Igala and Yesubu. So, now, during this period, of course, like I said, there was something like local government, there's something like states, anywhere you see, you stay. So they started their influence to Nsukka area to a point. Of course, Nsukka started, because of the relationship, the closeness, the proximity. So it was very easy. It was very easier for them to interchange even culture, even some borrowed culture, like some masquerade too was kind of borrowed. They can tell you that there's some masquerade they borrowed from Igala, of course, and Igala also borrowed. So, but then, like I said, they were kind of acculturation, right? So now, I met a man, like I said, when he was 70 years old, by name Ojobo. So I asked him, of course, when you want to ask this kind of people question, you just go to the point, ask them, are you Igbo? First of all, I told him about the community, that I'm loving their hospitality, that in fact I'm enjoying the atmosphere and everything. The man was kind of, he was like, okay, in Anuku Igbo. I said, what? Give me the judgment in Igbo. I said, why are you asking me if I hear Igbo? I'm Moni Igbo. And in Chaneba Igbo. We here, all of us are Igbo. I said, wow. So I know that one who said that his mother is from Nguru. His father is from Nguru Nsukka. His mother is from mother is from that side, that Apanya side. But they live in Apanya. So Apanya Hobo Igbo Kana. So and now there is something that happened during the war, because I always say 1967, 1970 is not a civil war. Civil war is a genocide war. It's pure genocide. There was a massive killing of Igbo people in Kogi parts, that area, to the point that some started changing their name. They were forced to change their name to Igala. And that is why a place like Echewa was changed to Echengo. I will still come to that. That is in Ebaji. So people started changing their names. If your name is Chinedu, you take it to change it to another name, which is something like Igala. So by changing it, they will now say that you are not Igbo. They will leave you. And that is why you see some people say, I met a lot of Igala people speaking Igbo language. Who told you that Igala people? Trace their history. If they can tell you the truth, who is their father? Who is their grandfather? If they can trace their history, they are not anything. They are Igbo people who live in that axis. There are places in Kogi that are pure Igala. There's no mixture of it. There are no Igbo people in that area. Like if you go to Ejule side, some places in the full local government area. I go in there. I went to even on Ichego. I went there. So if you go to some places, that is pure Igala. There's no mixture of anything Igbo. But these ones I'm talking about, they had existing Igbo aboriginals whom they met in that area and now colonized them. I call it colonization because there are a lot of things that happened, forces, and the Iman and the we are welcoming. That is I don't know if you say it's a problem for the Igbo. The Igbo people have this spirit of that republicanism, and also they love strangers. Like if a stranger, you visit an Igbo land or Igbo community, they will welcome a stranger more than their brother. They will treat you well. It's in our nature. So they are too relaxed and don't know the politics. They didn't know the politics these guys are coming up with. And now everything is playing out. All right. So now we are talking about, okay, now there's a place also I mentioned in that article. That place is called Ikponku. You know what is Unko is palm tree. Igbo is kind of multitude of palm trees. These people have natural resources. Okay, in fact, their land was so fertile for agricultural purposes. That was why Ufoko is in the base South Local Government area in Igbo State. Ufoko is within Soka area now. Ufoko now went there because of the benefit of their land and settled there. I will stay with them and cultivate, So it was after the war, Ufoko now returned to the base. And now somebody will now claim that Ufoko people migrated from Igala because these guys are now under in Kogi State. The Ikponku, after the state without being carved to Kogi State. This Ikponku, just Okuje in Soka local government area. Look at Okuje. They are in fact they are brothers of Okuje. They are almost the same area. It's just like another place called Odolo. This Odolo and Okuje, when Fulani herdsmen, because I went there, I even posted one of the pictures. When Fulani herdsmen came to attack Odolo. Odolo is in Kogi now. And some people are claiming that Igala. When Fulani herdsmen were fighting them, what happened? Okuje people went and attacked Fulani, joined them and fought Fulani herdsmen. So when Fulani herdsmen came to fight Okuje, these guys came and faced Fulani herdsmen, joined Okuje to fight Fulani herdsmen. So now, but they're claiming that there's a claim that they're Igala people. Igala people, they're not Igbo people. Okay, now let me get to the place called Avurugu. Under Avurugu. Avurugu is the name of the community itself. Avurugu, if you want to get Avurugu, you trace Avurugu through Okuje or Okutu. These places are in the Soka area. So you trace there. From there, you pass through bad road. In fact, that place is not motorable. It's very difficult for you to get there by car. So it's bike. Sometimes there's no development because these guys know that they're Igbo people. It's not that the Igbo people who migrated and settled there. That's misinformation that have been feeding all of us over the years. That these are people who live in their land. And this problem even started when the white man came. Started partitioning people. But the full blame will take it on state creation. That is why some people who want me to push the blame on the British colonizers. I say no. It's not about British colonizers. It's about state creation. Because, of course, there are some communities in Ebola that are not developed, not motorable. Quite all right. Yeah, so we cannot use that as a yardstick. But these guys, these have been assessed. They will tell you that Ozo One is our brother because most of them, whenever they do festivals, some villages know Ozo One. They come and visit them because they are brothers. Some brothers, one of them, other part of Soka will come and visit them and bring goodies whenever they are having some festivals. So now, this Avurugu, in fact, when I got to Avurugu, I was shocked. Because from the boundary, everybody is speaking. I saw a child going to school. I asked the child, yeah, so this is also kind of so that he's going to school. I was like, wow, first. So and now the bike man carrying me. I saw a woman. I saw a woman. An older woman. She should be in her 60s. Okay. I stopped the bike. I followed her with food. Hi, mama. Mama, hey, mom, Ebo Dore. I was like, because I'm very conversant with the Soka that if you speak in those, in fact, every dialect of Igbo, I understand all. So we started communicating. Master, mama, I said, I came now. So I was already recording. I had my recording in my pocket, so I was recording the conversation. Right? And so, Joy, anyway, if I go, I said, Suki, and when I was on Weber, I said, why you also? It's like, I say, I went to so afa kurubo say hey afa kurubo so keke ba afa nobody the woman now directed me to kiricha ya move then so just kala ya bungawa because what I do is I will just look at bike guys. Of course I read minds. I can understand who I can work with and I will brief the bike person, pay him any amount in charge. I don't negotiate because with that the bike guy is your security guy. He knows where there is danger. In fact, at a point, some of my bike guys started following me to do research. In fact, they began to understand what I was doing. One of them asked me, Ross, why are you doing all these things? Why are you even happy doing all these things? I told the guy, don't worry, you're going to understand very soon. Don't worry, you are going to know why I'm doing this. Before you know what is going on, sometimes you'll be talking to people, you tell me, yeah, capture it. I wasn't even doing research for me. So, so that is it. No, when we got to we are going, and now saw an old man. That is the man I used his picture in the article. We were passing. This man was waving at me. I don't know what, just waving. I said, stop. This man is a guy man. That's how I said, this papa is a guy man. Stop. The old man was just sitting in front of his compound. Looking at people going to the market, those going. Stop. I greeted him. I bowed down. I greeted him. One neighbor, it was in the morning. I was as early as 6 o'clock. I was already out. So, I say, one neighbor, say, because I understand, can speak a some extent. I say, papa, hi. So, it was flowing. And I asked him, I'm making all those. Allah is what Yosuka people use for wake up. The man was saying Allah repeatedly. So now I say I did it. So I claimed I was a student in Esoka. Of course, you don't tell them what you are doing. So I was like I was a student in Esoka. So I've been hearing about Avurugo. So I decided to visit that day, and I didn't know that I'm going to see you. I would have come with a wine. Of course, there was no way I could buy wine, so I had to give him money. Of course, anytime you are meeting an elderly person for your research, anytime you are going for research, you have to fast. In Nigeria, you don't just go and ask somebody a question. Why you drop? Where you got to get information? so although what I did was just to buy him over, no, I didn't come with any gift. When I'm meeting an elderly person, what I go is with gifts. I must go with wine as a respect. So since I did, because the village no way to buy anything, so I had to give him money. But I didn't give him money. Then it was after everything, after our conversation, just to show appreciation, I handed him something. After everything. So I now asked him, so all of you speak Igbo here. He said, Igbo now, okay? I said, all of us are Igbo. But I ain't on Igala. So, when I heard Ayen on Igala, because you look at the topography of the place, it's a Soka topography. The same thing, the land, everything. The red soil and everything, sand. Land Soka. So, okay, Igala. I understand why he said that. So now, I didn't want to go for that to ask more questions or argue or anything. So I was okay. And I asked him another question. He told me, so okay, is there any other market? He told me, I should go to Ahuakurubo. He said, okay, what will happen is that when I return, I will meet him again. I will meet him again. I said, okay, no problem. So we greeted and we left the market. So from the place I met this man to the market, very far. Sometimes we climb hills, we go down, climb another hill, and I was also observing some things. The grasses. In fact, even life for the natural, their land is well blessed. In fact, they have the forest, very neat. In fact,
As I was going, I was looking at Igbo communities, villages. Now for Nowa, now for Amoro. I was saying, why these people are called Igala? How can this be Amoro and Igala? Called Amoro. No, something is fishy. So we now saw a man. He was going to the market. I told the bike guy, stop, let's carry this man. He said, wow, I know the fear. Do I know who I want to carry? He said, the man carry cutlass. Sister, I don't care. Carry him. So he now stopped. The man backed me. I put my phone on recording. I started asking him questions. This man, in fact, he gave me a lot of information. I told Okada, you don't look down on anybody. This is village anyway. So we don't look down on anybody. Anybody can be a source of what you want. So the man now led us to the market. So when we got to the market, I was dumbfounded. Everybody is speaking Igbo in the market. I recorded some videos there, which I will later post. I will later post the video. So everybody in the market speaking. There's nothing like Igala. There's nothing like English. There's nothing like pidgin. Pure Igbo soccer. No village market now noise. And then people selling yam. I went to price yam. Now think they go there. I said maybe they catch your level. How much do you want to pay? I know I was not going to pay to buy the yam anyway. But after everything, and of course, this village, you have to act like a villager. Because if you want to show them or you can reach they will be suspected something. So of course. I said, oh, the Okada already they have the Okada said, you like Lygia, so Okada guy already called. It's okay, let's leave this yam and go and buy Koyam. We now left that, we went to buy Koyam. We now met the person selling Koyam, a young man. So my joy, they go in a apa Ida. I said, name 10,000, Bunyagia. I should give him 10,000, so I give it. I was like, this is Igbo, these guys are speaking. So why is that nobody is speaking Igala? Why is it that these people are claiming that Igbo people found that Igala people? Why? Okay, that's no problem. You're going to kill the last. I think I will go to Njenje. When you can say I'm happy. Then we now went to where they sell pepper, fresh pepper. In fact, their pepper is, in fact, if you look at the way the pepper looks like, in fact, I don't know how to describe it. Their land is so fertile. And everything they sell in the market, you see that they just take it from the farm. They sell within themselves. So they don't even need importation of any food. They have food. So I started asking them questions. They said that the only challenge they have in that community is Fulani herdsmen. So only Fulani herdsmen always come to attack their crops. So we met a lot of Fulani herdsmen on our way. And based on insecurity, when I see them, I even begin to hurt themselves. So I begin to hurt them. They greet them, find 1 or 2 hours and they speak, give them. So just pass. Because those guys are deadly in that area, that route. So of course it's a risky adventure, but it's worth it. So now, inside the market, I went to buy okpa. They're selling okpa. I'm not like a so-called okpa now. These are Ukuje guys. These are people within that area. I went to buy okpa. I said, I ate the okpa. They said it tastes like a so-called okpa. There's no difference. So I want back up. Anyone you want, they give you. So now I saw one man pushing his bicycle. I think I put the clip on my even Facebook or Twitter. So now was download. No. I was like, hey. If you know Canada were looking at me. So we now went deeper to the boundary of the community. Now everybody there is people. So after doing some finding in the market, of course, the one I went to Uri Akpanya market that day. I always target market day. I went to Uri Akpanya market day. So I wanted to see what is going on in the market. So the same thing. And now there's another place called Amaka. Amaka is after Akpanya area. After Akpanya area, if you just start you don't within that side, you enter inside Amaka. All the churches you see there, Igbo service KJ church, so they use churches, they use Igbo service. It's not my Igbo, these are Igbo communities. disabled communities. There's nothing like Igala. And some of them who know their roots, there's nothing they can do. And of course, this research now exposed, in fact, gave some people the strength to talk. And I love the fact that some of them are speaking up. So one lady said, I don't even know why they're calling us Igala. I'm from this place. You are right. I don't even know why they're calling us Igala. Yeah, it's Uboligo. There's a call called Uboligo Apaya. So the person is from Uboligo Apaya. Now, when you come to this Aburugo, then we have the Umochina. This Umochina is their center. The center of Aburugo is Umochina. Then Eke Aburugo is their market. Eke market is very popular. That is why some people misconstrue the name of the community as Eke Aburugo. So Eke Aburugo is the market. Every Eke market day, people come and Igbo is the communication, the language communication, no Igala. This is not like, okay, these people intermarry with Igala, they mix with Igala. They didn't mix with Igala. These people I'm talking about don't need to be mixed with Igala. They mix with Igala, but inside Eda, Ampa, those places. Even some parts in Ayaba, these are areas where you can kind of a mixture. And also inside Apanya, there's some, even if you enter inside Apanya, they will tell you some places that are Igala. But this research, I was very interested to know about the Igala communities. It's purely Igbo communities, indigenous Igbo communities. In fact, they are original Igbo, they are home in those places. That's what I was interested in. Okay, now, when you come to here, we get Umochina. Umochina is a center, like I said, and we now have a Kurubo. We have a Kurubo. We have Opabi Obo, and we have Opabioko. We have Obinago. Just as we have Obinago in Uji. We have Obinago. We have Amohoro. We have Molieze. Mwa Olieze. We have Ozara. Ihobune. Nnokwa. Ekporoko. Alome. This Alome is pure Igbo community. We have Abata Ebili. Look at the name. Abata Ebili. Abata means if you run, you live here. If you don't reach here, you need the Agbata Ibili. Abutogbe. We have Ola. We have Egabada. We have Odolo. These Odolo people are the ones who always join Ukuje in Soka to fight the Fulani herdsmen. And Ukuje also joined them because they are blood. Are the same people. And we have Ama Okwe. So how can you tell me that Ama Okwe is Egala? How can you tell me that Agbata Ibili is Igala? How can you tell me that Odolo Ihe Dolo? Oh, no Igala, Ozara, Nwoleze, Nnokwa. How can you tell me that these are Igala? You see, so if you look at the names, you see that these are real Igbo. Of course, I mentioned Iponku before. Iponku is now in Kogi State. And they want to subject them to call themselves Igala. They don't want them to identify themselves as Igbo. In fact, to at a point, it's like a crime for you to say that you're, even in Nigeria now, it's even a crime for you to say that you're Igbo. You just mention, I'm a proudly Igbo man, they start attacking you, that you're tribalistic, you're this and that. Because of, I don't know, insecurity. Just being an Igbo person is, like I always say, on a Njenje mad or hot orgasm, so to say. So, I don't know what, once they hear that you're Igbo, I don't know, I don't just know. So now, when I talk about that Akpanya, I talk of Agbedo Akpanya. And Agbedo is a name. Agbedo as a name. I mentioned my professor in Esoka, Professor of Linguistics, by name C.U. Agbedo. Of course. So, and the Agbedo is the place you enter. If you are coming from Omeda in Enugu. So when you pass Omeda, the other place you meet is Onado. Onado is in Igbo, is the south. Omeda, Enugu is not Igbo is enough. Then we now have, and this Apanya, when you go to Onado, after Onado, you now enter Agbedo, Apanya. And these people they have boundary with Ichi. The moment we have Ichi, though I don't want to go into that because I'm yet to do the research. If the Chinesuka and the one of Newi, if they have any ancestral thing, I still want to Ichi. After Newi, we are going to Saide Oba. We have Ichi there. So I'm yet to find out. So we now have Ichi.
And any other, we have Okutu is the other side. So you see that this almost it was in this place I was taking picture. I was taking picture somewhere. I was snapping some things. I was surrounded by they called me, handed me over to their community leader, who was questioning me. I should present my ID card and all that. I told them I have none. I mean, I was a student too. So from there we started having discussion. From there, because I had to go by street way. I had to reason with them. So we started discussing, and they told me plainly. After I started telling me where you guys can see, we're in North Central, blah 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 blah. I said, wow, but you mean as you know, when you go now, so I see way back. After everything, they now told me the truth. Saying, bros, if you want us to give you information, you bring money. That's what I was saying. And in this, at that juncture, I had to. I needed information, so I had to settle down. Something. That was when they started telling me the truth. So you see this one here, his papa was the former chief in this place. All of us that see us here, Igbo women born us. Our papa, Igbo women born them. Within that one they tell you. That's what one asked me. But as you can see, we are in North Central. And when they are saying this, we don't blame them. Because the location are not on annual, they're like also they don't have no origin, so to say. Because if they now say that they're able, these people will now if there's any benefit or some of them aspire for any political position, for instance, there's no way they are going to contest there because and they are in a house they are minority. And you either say you're an Igbo person, so you are not going to follow. So some of them now form a gala because of the politics. So whenever they want to go there, I understand the angle they're coming from. So it's kind of political aspect. So one now say that my ancestors was from Guru Nsuka. So now that is by the way. Now when we talk about Akpanya, now let me mention name of Igbo villages. Igbo villages in Akpanya. It's only Akpabirikpo of this one I'm going to call now that has Igbo and Igala mixture of people. But other ones are pure Igbo. We have Agbedo Akpanya. So some of them who speak Igala is just because of proximity. They meet with them, they mix up. So we have Ujiapaya, we have Obolibo. Obolibo is purely Igbo. We have Ijagudu, we have Ajiobi, we have Ujiela Akpanya, we have Akpabilipo. So this Akpabilipo is both Igbo and Igala mixture. They are like, what I mean mixture is like a child there can speak Igbo and speak Igala at the same time. We have Ajikele, we have Uju, Obolibo. So we have Agbokete, we have Apata, we have Igudu. Then there is Odumogu. So these are Igbo communities in this Akpanya area.
Okay.
So that is it. Now, okay.
Yeah, sorry, Maazi, not to really interrupt you. We know you've been talking and maybe needed a little time to drink water. Then, then secondly, I will just ask some specific questions which will also guide your discussion. And so while you take water, we just want you to, in addition to what you're telling us now, to tell us how many Igbo communities, because sometime last month we did about the Igbos of Benue State, and we are so shocked to discover that there were about 600 Igbo communities. I mean, real communities that could span over 3 local governments in Benue State. And we also even had about 2 or 3 of them on Igbo in Benue that came on stage and spoke to us. So, how many communities there, and the Igbo Anya some of these communities, and we've also seen the similarities. Did you maybe count to know the number of communities known at Kogi State, and Igbo Anya about their markets and other things? Are there other things that link their ancestry to Igbo? more than what you've already told us?
Okay. Yeah, of course, the like I said, the culture. The culture. Okay, now I want to mention the side of by yourself. There's a bit migration. Like in Ebaji, there's a place called Echowa. Echowa was the original name, but during the war, they now changed it to Igala to Ichengo. So their progenitor migrated from Ifitoka. I have somebody from there who confirmed this. From Ifitoka and settled in that place. They still answer Igbo name to today. Usually is their name of their Mongu Habijere. Their main Ofe is Ofe Sala and all that. Then we don't have others Habo within Agoreri. They settle within Agoreri. In fact, they're even neighbor with Agoreri, extend to also one. So the guy himself, when there was all he discovered in that axis, that was when Kogi's people started fighting that, claiming that Kogi. And Anambra State is fighting. Even Enugu State is fighting. The case is still in the court now. That is another topic of its own. So now, I am yet to count how many Igbo communities there. I've listed as many as possible. I will just count it. I've listed a lot of them in that article, but there are many, and I'm sure that I'm yet to discover all. In as much as I try to, I'm sure that there are many of them that are yet to be discovered, because some of them have been changed to Igala name. Some of them have been changed to Igala name, but if you don't dig well, you will not even know that those places are Igbo communities. Except you enter inside, you see them speaking Igbo. They have been changed to Igala name. And even the Ibaji dialect is not even pure Igala. It's a mixture of Igbo and the Igala. And most places in that Ibaji area speak Igbo is their language. So they live within that Agureri area. Some of those Igbo communities live within Agureri area. And some of them extend to also wild, even to Ogurugu. So if I should count their names now, how carry that carry?
Okay.
So
yeah, okay. All them, at least you've been able to list so many of them, and we could all understand the names and the meanings of those names. Their Igbo-ness is not even in doubt. So, we want to open the floor now to those on stage, so that if they have any question to ask you, any specific question based on what you've told us so far, then we can do that. Please, before we click our mics, I would want to tell us that Maazi has an Igbo masterclass online in trying to promote Igbo language and culture. He has set this up. You can engage, even a child that is born today can engage. So you can check his website, www.ibotic.net. You have quite a whole lot to learn there. Buy the packages. Those packages with Chibo from birth to death. It's important. Then we'll take some questions now. Then after that, we announce some other things as well. So if you want to ask a question, kindly click your mic and I would get the order set. Aburi, if I mention your name, you stop clicking. Any other person? Any other person? Okay, Maazi. Maazi, I can see you. Who else? ACB, just flash your mic, don't talk, because this thing is being streamed live by Njenje Media. I've put up the link actually out there too for those that want to see it on YouTube. So please, and who else wants to talk? Please, if you're in the audience and you want to say something, raise your hand, I'll bring you up, you ask your question, and we continue. Okay, so we have 3 people at the moment, and we are going to go in this order. Aburi, Mazia Kuchie, and Esibe. Aburi, you have.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Jay, and thank you, Mazi Wunaya, for the fantastic work that you're doing. I pray that God continues to strengthen you. I was just gonna ask, before the creation of states, were these Igbo communities part of the old Eastern region that Ojukwu declared as Biafra?
No.
What was the old Eastern region even before Ojukwu declared them as declared Biafra? Well, were these communities part of the old Eastern region?
Maazi, are you there? Maazi.
Okay, yes. Okay, yeah.
Carry on.
Okay, so some parts we are part of old Eastern region, especially those areas like closer to Kuje and Enugu Ezike. So why some parts there was already a mixture, like I said, explained earlier, because of the mixture of Igala and Igbo. They now carve them to North Central. This was the one they had British did. They push them to North Central. Of course, they were Igbo people. The fault of the British colonialists. So those ones already mingle with the Igala, the kind of a mixture. Igbo there. So those ones were they were not part of the Eastern region. But some parts were part of the Eastern region during that Biafra time. The state creation now cut them out. So the other set of people, the British caused that because when they started partitioning people, they put them into North Central. And there was a time Musoka was even put under Otukpo division. People kick against it. So imagine if they eventually succeeded. By now, there will be because we claim they are not Igbo people, they are from Otukpo. So it happened. So on Joshua Burani Igbo, 30. So some parts, why some are not, we're not.
Okay, can I be allowed to make a brief comment?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to emphasize that, as you have stated, the British carved Nsukka into Otukpo. We also want to remind people that the British also carved Anioma into, which was in Onitsha province before, into Warri and Benin province too. So people will need to understand the level of involvement of the British in this, trying to distort the Igbo identity and trying to make sure that people lose touch with their roots. So it's very important. The politics of the distortion of the Igbo identity did not start today. It started a long time ago, before independence. The British just carving in the Igbo into different provinces at first, then carving part of Igbo land into Western Nigeria, then Midwest. But there's been a lot of carving of Igbo communities into different regions rather than the Southeast or the old Eastern region. I just thought it was. I just wanted to point that out. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Aburi. Thank you for that insight. Maazi Akuchie, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me? Am I audible now?
Maazi, yes, and the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, good. Hello, good evening, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. Just greetings. Good night. Thank you very much for the effort, and it must have been very painstaking to gather all these facts that are refutable, and also it takes a whole lot of resources to to come up with this information that many of us aren't really aware of, and your own resources as well. So we're gonna get there, and thank you very much. And you always know, when you're including them. So to my question, so I'm gonna refer back to when you came out with these findings. Obviously, you're gonna have blowback, right? Folks that are gonna come to counter you. So I'm gonna go back to this article that was written. Now, the interview with the author, published in the Punch magazine in 26 August 2007, when the author said, and I'll quote it, and I'll ask my question after this short quote. He said, "Would you mind telling us the origin of the Igala people?" And the author responded, talking about the origin of the Igala people, a sizable group migrated from Bukari to Taraba State from where they came to Benue, along the river Benue, and continued very close to the confluence of the place called Amagabe, by river Benue, and slightly down from Amagabe downwards to Ida. And they settled there. And there, they met a sizable population of Yorubas and the Benin, and also the Igbos. So the migrant population from Wukari merged with them and produced a language called Igala as a people. So my question of this, are we saying that the Igala language is it's a conglomerate of different languages put together, Benin, Yoruba, and Igbo? And my second question is, if since the Igbos were able to maintain their heritage, language, customs, and traditions, as you rightly highlighted, even to the food, the four market, we have 4 market days. The 3 market days were what survived. One of them, I think, therefore, was what was extinct, was changed, and every other thing you highlighted. How come? I don't know. Did you run into the Yoruba since it was you mentioned that they came in there as well? Where did you run into the Yorubas? Were they able to maintain their original culture and language there as the way the Igbos were able to do in your research? Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, the first question. Okay, the first question is Let me take the second one. Then before we go to the first one, if I met the Yoruba, yes, my roommate. Okay, my roommate during when I was 7 is from Igala. He's Yoruba. He speaks Yoruba, and he doesn't see himself as an Igala person. He sees himself as a Yoruba person. So that means in that area, there are still Yoruba. That is why we have Yoruba in Kogi State today. I think this guy is from that side. This former senator now, Ido Melaye, speaks his Yoruba part of Kogi. So these people are very vast. They are very vast. Like I said, when they now came, so this took years of would I say imposition, because they started imposing a lot of things on people. But I think the Yoruba communities are more vocal about their ethnicity and the language than the Igbo there. On the Igbo kind of suppressed there. So now, about sorry, remind me the first question. I answered the second one. Remind me
the first question will be, how are you, based on what the artist said, and also in line with your research?
I remember it now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. The Igala language is a combination of different languages. And the same thing happened at Ebaji. The Ebaji, what they have there is a creolized language, mixture of Igbo and the Igala. In some parts too, but there's some parts that are so pure Igbo. So the Igala language is a combination of Igbo. There's a lot of there are a lot of words that are for Igala now that mean the same thing in Igbo. It's a mixture. It's kind of a creolized language, So they say Yoruba, part of it, and the one they now brought from their Wukali journey. They mixed everything, so that's how the language was formed. But now, in everything, they want to kind of excommunicate Igbo, make sure that there's anything like Igbo doesn't exist in that area. So that is what is going on now, and that is why some person. But anyway, not everywhere that like I said, not everywhere can speak Igala. Not every part of Igbo communities there speak Igala. It's only some area, some parts closer to all these deeper you can find handful of Igala people. The word of Ekaburugo, they are pure Igbo. When Hebasa and Igala, there's something like missing of language or anything. The ones close to Alome, it doesn't concern them with Igala. So the one close to this place again. So it's just a few places came with a kind of Igala influence. Like Ogurugu. Like in Ogurugu, they still have Igala influence in Ogurugu area. And Ogurugu is also one part. They have Igala influence in those places, but not everywhere we have Igala influence. So Eba Ahmed to affect that is why they have Eke Ore, You have Ede, but not everywhere that have that Ede. Some places still have the complete Igbo market days without that mixture of Ede. I mean, Ede they call them. Come on, boy.
Thank you.
I don't know,
teacher. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, maazi. Esibe, are you there? Esibe. If Esibe is not here, please, Ndidi, you can ask your question.
Hi, thank you. I just wanted to ask, before they started carving everything out, like the British and their own divisions and then the states, were the Igbo people ever in one confluent area? Or were they always been scattered all around that region called Nigeria?
Maazi, let me say something before Maazi comes in. Ndidi, if you Google the map of Nigeria according to the ethnic nations, you would see the map of Igbo land as it is in the current Nigeria. You'll see the map of other people too. And if you kind of Google the political map of Nigeria now with 36 states and superimpose it on the ethnic map of Nigeria, you will see how Igbos are scattered within the 5 southeastern states, extending to Akwa Ibom, Cross River, Rivers, Delta, Benue, even Edo, and Kogi State. So what the state creation did, like those Igbos in Benue State that are carved out from Ebony axis, those things happened during the war. So it was easy to carve out people at the fringes, at the boundaries of Igbo land to other places. We also have people like that in Akwa Ibom State, this eastern Obolo side. And then we also know what the British did to our brothers on the west of the Niger. And then the politics of state creation, which happened shortly before the Civil War on the 27th of May 1967 by Yakubu Gowon, who created first 12 states out of the 4 regions, actually now did the final work of dividing Igbos, carving them out into communities or into states where they are minorities. So they turn to minorities. So it's easier for those communities to assimilate them. And that's why the Kogi people, for them to survive, they will change their name. That's why the Ibanke people Ibakri people in Edo states will change their name to Ibanke so as to flow in the states you've carved them into so that they can survive. That's why even in some places in Akwa Ibom State, so those places have been renamed to one Ekot or another Ekot or whatever, so that they can be able to maybe assimilate and nobody will see their distinctiveness. That's why you see phrases like Delta Igbo, Bendel Igbo. That doesn't make sense because they just want to divide us and make us look different. When we know that Igbo is Igbo. I've never heard of Ondo Ejo. I've never heard about Kogi Yoruba or Kwara Yoruba. But we can also see how these tribes, these nations, Yoruba and the Ejo nation, extend beyond the boundaries of the Nigerian states. So when you talk about the Igbo, it's actually we are contiguous and we are within a place and we spread out within our place. What makes it as if we are scattered is as a result of all this political creation of states, which actually the main aim was to divide and rule. I don't know if any other person has another thing to add to this.
Yes. Just keep checking for yourself. You said everything I want to say. I hope there's something this man says. Some people didn't listen to him. Oni of Ife made mention of Igbo people in Ife. People look at it as the man was not saying anything meaningful. And there was also a time Obi of Onitsha said something about Igbo people in Yoruba. People, were like, he's talking nonsense. But I was laughing. Why I'm not going to talk about that is, this is a story I'm yet to, this is a history I'm yet to unveil, so I will still talk about it later, not now. If you don't know what they have, Igbo. They have Igbo in Ogun State. We have Igbo in all those places. They just say there's something called Igbo Recoil in Igbo history. Igbo Recoil. And there's always this history of this thing is even before the white people are even, before they even came. And even all this Idu. Idu. Ndị asị gị Idu bụ Edo. But this is their home. That is why if I see some person saying that they came from Edo, some part of Igbo people they say they came from Edo, I don't want to argue them because this when it comes to history, people always go by what they heard. This is what we have been told. This is what my father told me. And you don't even ask yourself whether your father was lying because your father heard it from someone else. Did your father confirm? Or it's my father? Anything my father told me is true. That's what somebody is saying. I'm not Igbo. But have you asked yourself, if at all you are from this place, why is it that you don't retain any linguistic feature with these people? Why is it that you don't, even culture-wise, why is it that you always speak Igbo, no matter what? Anyway, so when it comes to all these things, Ndi Igbo different parts in Nigeria, Ndi Igbo, I'm not talking about where they lived before everything started happening. Some people migrated backward. That is where I will say, somebody told me that Eze Chima be a Edo name. How can Eze Chima be a Benin name? I don't even see the sense it's making that Eze Chima is a Benin name. But I don't want to go into that argument now. So the thing is that Ndi Igbo, which are these are places they lived before the white people came, before they started demarcating them. And we are not known for state. That man will say, I'm from Anambra, you are a Ebonyi person. Why are you? I don't even know you are from Ebonyi. Say, hey, you are from Imo. The idea is for us to hate ourselves. That's all. And for us to feel superior to the essence of state creation in Nigeria. And in all these things, we should know why they created state. You just have to kind of cripple the wings of the Igbo. That's all. And this is the mastermind, it's the business of the British. So that is what I have to chip in on that.
Okay, thank you very much, Maazi. I think we've exhausted the questions we have here. I'm going to, okay, just recently 2 persons came up. So I want to believe that those that came up actually came up to ask questions. So I'm going to give Obim, Dan opportunities to ask their questions. Obim, Dan, in the books, were you flashing? Okay, so if you want to talk, please flash your mic. And please, after asking questions, I would advise people to go down stage after asking their questions and they've been satisfactorily answered so that we don't cluster the stage. So if you ask a question and it's been answered well, we can go down. So I have on my list Obim, Dan, in the books, KC, and who else wants to talk? Okay, Obonna PC. Who else? Okay, so Obim, Dan in the books, KC and Obonna PC. Obim, you have the floor. Okay, if Obim is not speaking, Obonna PC, carry on. I'll revert back.
Okay. Maazi Okoro, thank you so much. Mine is not really a question. I just want to kind of just add a little to what you've said. So I don't know if you will give me the permission, Biko. Maazi?
Yeah, carry on.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, yeah. You know, I really love what you are doing. You know, you are continuing from where big giants like Professor Kenneth Dikeha Afi stopped. You know, so the truth is that the Igbo history has not really been scratched. You know, we really don't even know so much about ourselves. So this is why we're seeing all this identity crisis left, right, and center. Igbo is bigger than what we think we are. So let me just start by saying, you spoke about the movement from Wukari, and when if you go back to history, you will find out that there was a certain time that it was the thieves and the Jukuns after the fall of the so-called Kwararafa Confederacy in the 16th, 17th century. There was a movement to the Benue axis. The Jukuns moved towards the Wukari axis. Then the TV people crossed over the Benue and settled where they settled. So I believe these Igalas were originally the Jukuns who settled at that Wukari. Then with time again, they moved from that place now to the current Ida, and from the record you have, and from the record of the Ato of Igala. Anthony, okay, yeah, and from your record and from the record of the Ata Igala, it's been stated that when they came to Ida, that they met the Igbos, the Yorubas, and the Benins, which it's very, very possible. So I'm believing that it was those Jukun people who moved from that Wukari, came to Ida today, mixed with the Igbos and the other settlers, with the other people they found in Ida where they settled, that gave birth to this new ethnic group now we call Igala. Then when you look at the Igbo ethnic group on its own, we have like three major influences. The northern part of Igbo land, which is the Nsukka and the Igala axis. Then we had an influence again from the western Igbo, from the Anyoma, the Ika Igbo side, west of the Niger, which was the Benin influence. Then we have the southern influence, which was the Aro, Ibibio influence. Understand me? These three major cultures help to influence the current Igbo civilizations we have today. But when we talk about Igbo, as in to identify who is an Igbo man, because the truth is that as of then, we really didn't have what was Igbo. We identified ourselves mostly from the village we came from. But when we left this our village and go out, we know that the next people in this village are Igbo, based on like 4 elements, and which you have stated here. If you have the 4 market days, traditionally, that shows that you're originally Igbo. If you are from a place that answers or uses that chi either in name or chi in your deity, you are Igbo. Then we have the Ordinana, the Omenana. So if you check even all these places where we have all this crisis and conflict of Igbo identity, you will find out that these 4 principles are very, very strong, have an influence both in their cultural, in their spiritual life, and in every other thing. Then, like this Igala now, the truth is that Igala is too small to give birth to Igbo, but it's a greater truth that they had so much influence on the civilization of the northern Igbo side. Because when you talk about Islam coming into Igbo land, it came through the Igala axis in 1937. The first set of Muslims who were converted from the Igala. It was the Igalas who converted them. And when you see those Igbos who were converted by these Igalas, they were all having this Igala tribal mark. Then when we also check the colonial records, we will find out that there was a certain woman who happened to be the only colonial king or queen, but she wasn't called a queen. She was the only warrant chief who was a female in the whole of Nigeria. Where was she from? She was from northern Igbo, which was Enugu Ezike side, Ugebe. And if you read her history from the records written by Achebe Wando, you find out that the Ata of Igala was also instrumental to she being a strong woman in her community, because in her record, there was it was stated that there was a certain time she had to migrate from her place due to 1 or 2 reasons. Went to Igala, then 1 or 2 things brought her back, and the Igalas have always been warlike people, like their parents, like where they came from, the TV and the Jukus. These guys are warlike people. So this was why they were able to build an empire. They fought within the Igbos, they intermarried with us. Then when you talk about spirituality, Arose, so many of the Aroses we have in Igbo land, if you look at them very well, they have origin from Igala. Today, when you talk of very powerful native doctors, they will tell you go to the northern part of Igbo land, which is where that's Nsukka, Enugu Ezike axis. And when you go to that axis, they will also make reference to Igala. So you can see there's so much influence Igala had on Igbo land. And another good thing you pointed out was the reverse migration. This is what so many of us do not know in our history. there was reverse migration from so many axes of Igbo land, especially in the northern part of Igbo land, which is that on Suka side, Ida, then in the western part of Igbo land, which was the Benin axis. That is why you see this confusion of so many people wanting to trace their history from Benin. But when you look at their name, look at their tradition, look at their culture, you'll find out that it has no attachment to the so-called Benin where they are tracing themselves for. So automatically, it was a reverse migration. The fate the Igbo man suffers today is just like the fate the Germans suffer in Europe. When you look at Germany, when Germany woke up as a nation, Europe was destabilized because in population and in strength, the Germans were very powerful. What did Europe have to do to put Germany down? They balkanized Germany, or the German-speaking people. Today, you find Germans in Switzerland, in Austria, in Germany, in Italy. They made sure that these people did not come together as a whole. And you can even see today, despite the fact that Germany fought 2 world wars to unify herself, despite the fact the sanctions and everything, Germany is still the most developed country in Europe. But Europe find a way to accommodate and live with Germany. But what did Nigeria do? Nigeria started from decree number 8 of Yakubu Gowon. What did we do to these people? What can we do to these people that we cannot control? People who always want to exert themselves. That is the Igbo man's worldview. If he believes his chi has agreed with him, an Igbo man can be born poor and he will die a king. This is why you always find this success story with us. Anywhere we go, we always have a way of achieving it. So what the Nigerian system did now was to make sure that they balkanized us from the north, from the west, and from the south, and ended up creating an identity crisis among these people. I still tell people till tomorrow, the ethnic group with the largest population in Nigeria, with no apology, is the Igbo. Because if you can put the Igbos in the so-called South region, when we know that geographically there's nothing like the South, and you put our Igbo brothers who have been cut into Kogi, Benue State, then you come to the southern axis, you take the Igbos in their Akwa Ibom and other states, you put them together and form a whole, you will find out that it is not even the north that has the population. The south has the population, and when you talk of the south, those who have the population, it is the Igbo. The Igbo, by number, despite the fact we are scattered, we are the biggest and the largest in Nigeria, but it is in the intention of Nigeria to de-Igbonize us. They started breaking us, putting us into so many different regions where we have no cultural affiliation to, creating an identity crisis on Igbo. So this is just my little contribution. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Obunna. Is Dan there? Dan? Dan, are you there?
Hello.
Hello? Is Dan there? Can you hear me? Okay, I'm not sure Dan is here. Any books, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, any books, you have the floor.
Okay, just want to ask you a question. These are people there at Kogi. Politically, are they actually well represented, or are they kind of suffering the same thing our people in Benue, are passing through? I just wanted to know if they politically they're actually well represented.
Unfortunately, no healthcare, no good healthcare. I didn't even see any health. I was even asking how, assuming there's any emergency like health, how do they survive? You don't say that you gotta go do, So you can't see any government presence in these places. So they are suffering politically, especially the side of Ekavurugo. There's no road. You can't see any good road leading to these places. For once, you can't even see any little third road. So some of these places is not even motorable. It's only bike that can go to all these places. So they are not politically represented. It's so unfortunate.
Any books, are you happy with that response?
To add, sorry, please. The reason is just clear. They know that these guys are Igbo, pure Igbo. They know. Of course, even look how is Lokoja self. Is Lokoja politically represented in the first place, which is the capital. Kogi as a whole self. So you can't even see good road in Lokoja, which is the capital. Talk more of the villages, but that is even by the way. So the way you get to all these villages, even the complaints of workers teaching in school, they are hardly earn their salary, which is normal in Kogi State in general. It's don't pay salary. So some of the teachers I interviewed, because I went to schools, I met some teachers, and I know there's no way they will be teaching Igbo language in these schools, and that is a problem. Our language is still dying in those areas. So I wanted to find out, and also they're not also teaching Igala. There's no like Nigerian language that's teaching in those schools. That's another issue. So when I asked some of those teachers, okay, they complain of that some of these schools, of course, community school. If you look at the schools, no much government presence in those schools. No much government presence. So they are lacking. They're lacking. But one thing I love them for, if not for anything, that spirit of Igbo man, self-sufficient, self-sufficiency. They are okay with themselves because they are working hard. They have their family. They eat healthy. If I see how they look more. Those in the camp who go. If you look at them, they look so healthy. They eat well. They eat natural food. So, not like in a rindomi. So if it's that one, they are okay. They are feeding themselves. They are taking care of themselves. Their needs, things like that. So.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Casey, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, Casey, the floor is yours now.
Okay, thank you very much. Maazi, I really want to thank you for taking our time to do this research. You know, I lived in Kogi State in Ida for a while. And then most of Yandi Kucha, I know, which is there are facts which I verified even before all this, you know. I remember that time when I was looking at the Encyclopedia Britannica then. So the sociological and anthropology definition for Igala. They were describing Igala as the closest group to the Igbos living in Nigeria. And there were so many similarities that on my own, I was thinking that maybe Nanigwa and Igala were the same, that they migrated from the same place. This was what I thought there. Because there were similarities in our languages, there were similarities in our market days. They have Afro. I don't know maybe Garuru, towards the northern part of Igala, that Ajaka, their market will have Ajaka. They have so many things, you know. I know they have I think Unko was what they but they have a K Ori Afro. Then Unko was what I didn't see. And there were similarities, you know, when you hear something like Lia, when they say Bia, Lia for Bia, and Otale is Etare in their language. You know, there are so many things. And when you cross over to Soka, they answer the same names. They there were so many things how they make together, which will make you wonder whether these people are migrated from the same source, migrate here. You know, Mana. Then when you read Atta's submission about their history, you know, it makes you think, well, maybe, but so many years ago, our ancestors must have crossed paths. You know, we wouldn't say, you know, and when they make the comments, maybe Nakogi, and they got Shirike as a people, they are really, really tough. And influence how when Nakogi State is too much. You know, even at least State, when the Yoruba speaking parts and then also the Kaba. Then when in the Igwira, they don't know Kenya area. But then they Igala dominate most of Kogi State. And if those similarities, Igawaya in every aspect of.
They have 9 local government. Igala occupied 9 local government areas in this whole state.
Yeah. So it will touch the community. That area, like even in their communities, you will see they'll go to church on Sundays and go to mosque on Fridays. On Fridays, you won't even have, you won't believe now. Now, and when they are not there, Naga church, because everybody will be going to the mosque because they are at time. Most times, I think only one at time, recent times when you're Christian, but the rest are Muslims. So on Fridays, they all go to the mosque. On Wednesdays, they go for prayer meetings in our churches. And then, of course, the normal Sunday meetings. So they always a mixture of so many things living around there. And you would easily understand why Igbo thrive in those communities. Then with one incident when we were at Kogi State, we went, just with my friends who were tracing power cables. So distribution network power cables. So we have driven more than 10 miles into the forest. And then I got there. Happened that which way. So trying to protect ourselves from wild animals. I got one compound no more here, but no, then I ask you more here. So I have posted. So the man now, his daughters, they stopped. They take a line in English. Make a hand. As one year was saying, say again, you couldn't look any more here by name. So we drove more than 10 miles into the forest. IG Isuzu truck drove down there. So I was shocked. That's what happened. How would the side door? But now then, the bank had a farm, So okay. And then if you go down there, Nikogi will tell you that now Anambra River that's Egabada River. Don't let me get Egabada.
Yes, I even mentioned I mentioned in the article Egabada.
Okay, yeah. So how can I work in Anambra? What we call Anambra River, not Egabada River. We have Anambra River, and there were a lot of similarities. I feel that one thing to mention is important. In our research, I'm never getting so many voices that would you want to use it to tear people apart. If maybe this research of people will start antagonizing them. Came in the interest of peace, so that they will be comfortable wherever they are. Whether and let it be done respectfully. I know you'll be doing that already, but just encouraging you to keep doing that. You want to prove now anything because I know that I know this has not been proven, but I am sure to a very large extent Igbos at Kogi State, then we're going to intermingle somewhere that we cannot untie that history together, that it has gotten lost. Because I got that area from either after Oforachi, Odoru, Aboli Nyanga Nyanga, Egabada, all the rest of them, but I want to Odoru and Soka, There's so many things along there that has really united those people together, which politics in Nigeria like that trying to tear apart, Nana, thank you so much for such a great job. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Casey. I think we'll have to move on. We've exhausted the people on our list. So just a little refresh. Today we are just discussing about the findings of a field research by maazi okoro in Kogi State. So what we are discussing today is the Igbos of Kogi State, not Igbos in Kogi State, the Igbos of Kogi State. And he's also been able to tell us today about what he found on the ground, which Casey has also collaborated, having lived amongst the people. So this is Igbo Nation, and this is where we discuss everything about Igbo, our culture, our heritage, our ancestry, our values, our norms, our spirituality, our great men and women, and our tradition, our language, everything. So this is the melting point for all ideas concerning Igbo. And this room is free and open to Igbo, wherever they are, our neighbors, our brothers and sisters, and all men and women of goodwill. So please click on the greenhouse icon and follow Igbo Nation. You can also follow some of the moderators so that they can ping you in whenever we have interesting topics. And one of them we have is the celebration of the feast of Saint Chinua Achebe, which will be holding on the 16th, which will be his 91st birthday, posthumous birthday anyway. So it's going to be a very lovely academic and historical exercise, and we advise you to keep a date with us. Next Monday as well, we are going to have Ask a Doctor today, where we hold a community town hall meeting with our healthcare providers, where we just interact and ask questions on anything and do sort of health education. So we have quite a whole lot to learn from the Igbo Nation. I want to be ending this room soon. So currently I have about, I think 2 people trying to raise their hand to come up to talk. So I would bring up MVN and Nobu to ask their questions. Would call it a night. So MVN, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can I go on?
Go on, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, Maazi. Nice one. I was following the work on Twitter, saw you on the bikes and everything. So, quick questions. First, because I couldn't join earlier because I was tied up with some other things. So, sorry to draw you back if you have addressed it earlier. First question, how many present-day local governments do these people or do our brothers of Kogi State occupy? That's one. Second question, did they migrate from a place, maybe just as we know the Anyoma people who are from Ezichime migrated somehow from Benin, from Benin back. So did they migrate from any place to that side, or is that where they have been all their lives? So then the final one, this research, where are we going to have it at the end of the day? Are you publishing on international journals? Is it going to be on a place? Because I am very much concerned and interested in researches like this. I like to get them from wherever and put it. So if you are publishing, where are you going to publish and how can we get it? Thank you very much. That's all I want to
Maazi.
Yes, I'm here. So the question is, how many local governments do we find Igbo? The truth is that the Igbo is scattered in different local government. Like you can get in the Igbo na Ufu local government area. That's where you can enter Onichigo. Then you can enter the Igbo na Igala Mela or Dolo local government area. You can also get in the Igbo na Ibaji local government area. In fact, there are many of them. And at some point, when we say big, I got itself, like in fact, we can't even find anything. Like you don't even know. You don't see any signpost. You don't even see any signpost that indicates this is a local government. But there are people living there, and they have name for their community. So I met places like that. So my research wasn't even actually about the local government people, but where exactly, what are those communities? How do we locate them? And that was why whenever I'm going, I even the write-up, I trace the route, how you can get connected to any of them, those places. You can go from here to here, you can go from here to here. I made a description so that even if you want to find some of those places, don't just go by local government, because some places you enter like this, you don't even see any signpost to start with. That is one. Then we will talk about the migration. Of course, you said that you came because of other engagement you had. Well, these people we're talking about, did not migrate to that place. Those places we had been their ancestral home. Like if you look at the write-up from the beginning, those people who migrated from the Taraba, when they came, they met Igbo. So there were already people living in those places. So these Igbo communities we are talking about, they are not migrants. Rather, on the Igbo neighbor. So some of them who left for the Igbo were already Igbo who moved from there to Soka. I mentioned the Umushene in Omeda. There's a place in Omeda in Enugu, Ezekiel. I mentioned that earlier. So they moved from there to Enugu, Ezekiel. And their brothers are still there in Eda, even up to today. Every year, they go to Enugu, Ezekiel and meet them with gifts from what they left in their land. And even in that, those Igbo communities, they speak Igbo, not any other, not Igala. So just as the Igala had influence on the Northern Igbo, the Northern Igbo also had influence in Igala, even in the languages, because it's one of a mixture of, even Igala language is a mixture of Igbo, to some extent, and also their own. Pini and Idoma and all those kind of places. Then about the publishing, like I said, what I just posted is just it's kind of a snippet of the whole thing. So I'm still on research. So once I'm done, I think when I'll publish it, it will be on very soon. So I have gotten cow for now. Mana oga puta. Where is Orezo? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anthony, you came up.
I'm here. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm here.
Sorry, there is one noble I've been trying to bring up, but I don't know, it's not coming up. So Mobu, you can leave the room and enter again and raise your hand. I'll try to bring you up. The same thing with Ike Kano. So please, you can leave the room and come in again so that we can bring you up. I've tried to bring you up, but I guess network is not allowing us. So Anthony, you have the floor. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you very much. I'm honored to have this pleasure to speak. Maazi, I'm very happy with your good work. To start with, I'm from Aguleri, and these people, they are our neighbors. Not only they are our neighbors, in ancient time, the Igalas, or like all the Igalas, they had influence on us per se. They raided us time and time without wars. They had one notable man who they call Onoja Nwaobiageli. He fought our people a lot. Those people you are calling today, the Obajis, those communities you called, they were formerly living close to us in the northern part of Aguleri. They were living close to us. But a war broke out between we and them. Those communities, Aguleri now chased them up north where you have today. And we chased them across the Anambra River, where you find these Igbo communities. We chased them there. So the British, to end this war, now demarcated and called those people Northern Nigeria. So that is where the territory of Northern Nigeria started from. That is what the British did. They carved it out and called those people Northern Nigeria. And the map, if you want to know more about this, if you go to the Go family, they have the documents which the British used in carving them out. So those people, they were, or let me call them our brothers, they were formerly with us, but we chased them up north. We chased them across the Anambra River. That is what they did in the ancient times. Thank you.
Yeah. And that Odeke, you know the community called Odeke?
I know them, yes. They still call our name. They still come to pay homage to us.
Even today, anytime they are doing any festival, what I will say, Odeke Agolokweno, and today they are in Kogi. Yes. Okay, thank you for the information.
Thank you.
Noble, you are here now, so you can ask your question.
Hello.
Go ahead, we can hear you.
Okay. I want to ask a question. What is the link between the Aka of the and the Igala?
Can you please speak up a bit? We can barely hear you.
Can you hear me now?
If you could speak up a bit more, would be better.
Okay. I'm asking, what is the link between the Ata of Ubosi and the Igala people? Because I can see some Igala culture within the Ubosi tradition.
Thank you, Maazi.
I couldn't hear him.
He's asking what is the link between the Ubosi people and they have Ata of Ubosi. So what's the link between that and the Igala people? Because he sees so many similarities between Ubosi culture and that of Igala.
Okay, so when we are talking about, there's something I want. Before I mention, there was something I want to clear. Somebody said that their village in Ejago migrated from Igala. The question is that who are those people we even call Igala in the first place? The same Igbo, Bigore, same Igbo people that lived here who migrated from different parts of Igbo land. That is, there's somebody made mention of reverse migration. Yes, anyway, reverse migration. But the issue of the Ubosi, Ata of Ubosi, and Ata of Igala, I won't answer that now because I'm not sure of that their similarity or any. I maybe that research for now. But what I want to talk about is that apart from Ubosi having similarities with Igala, many parts of northern Igbo land have similarities with Igala. If not only Ibatana side in Soka gas, now Bagotan the side do the gas, which are some cultures that similarities with Igala. And also Ibatawani Megale with mixture of culture. So sometimes or put out that maybe Ubosi see from Igala or something like that. Or when they can go migration, it happens. But migration Abukari, you go back to join your people from some persons in different places. Just like let me use for instance my community. Omoka, there's another community, Omonoka. Omoka and Omonoka, they are brothers. And our history is being traced to Igbo. Okay, now, this one, they say, oh yeah, shift to this side, go and stay the other community, that side, let me stay this side. It's a migration, that one day. But this Ata of Igala and Ata of Ubosi, I don't know if they are the same. I'm yet to find out. So I will not answer what I don't, I'm not sure of. That is a joke. But I don't think, even in the history of Ubosi, I don't know because of the days of a misinformation. I read somewhere somebody was saying that Ubosi and the Igala, they have something in common. I've read it somewhere, but I am yet to find out if that is true or not. So, but I've read it in a book. One history of Ubosi like that, so I've seen it. But basically, in the man Ubosi, so okay, there's something I want to mention. There's something I want to mention. Emma, when it comes to that Anambra, that on the river, that Anambra River, that river Niger, about. Then we kind of there's a migration that took place, and that migration also affected the people of Njenje. That is up to now. People still believe that Njenje people came from Igala. I don't know if anybody know that have that history. I don't know. Njenje and Igala relationship. I'm just asking. I don't know if anybody, with that kind of information about the Igala relationship.
Maazi, I think we have to jot things down in our jotter. Probably those are some of the things.
Question.
Those are some of the things you might explore later in life. Okay, it's like Ifoma has something to say on that. Have it, Floyd.
Yeah, regarding the question, I don't know who asked it, but regarding the question that that person asked, the likelihood is that there probably are Igala people that was residing in Ubosi, because Onitsha, the first people that the Ezechima clan met when they landed in Onitsha was of Igala ancestry. In fact, there's two villages within Onitsha territory that claim Igala descendant. So, and as you all know, Bosi is literally right next to Onitsha. So the likelihood that there are some individuals that they Obosi equally have that migration pattern is possibility. Because even Asaba itself, the founder of Asaba was of Igala and I think Igbo mixed. Yeah, I believe he was Igala and Igbo mixed. So the Igala people were residing in that territory long before the Igbo communities that founded those territories came into the place, and then they intermixed and became what it is we see today. Because even if you go to Onitsha, not that many, even most Onitsha people don't know the two. Even myself, I'm not gonna lie. It's actually when I was researching when I found it out. The three Onitsha territory or the Onitsha land that claim to be Igala descendants, and these were the original. They were the original people residing on Onitsha before Ezechima clan came into. The same way with Asaba. According to my cousin, within Asaba, even though the founder of Asaba was both Igala and Igbo mixed, when he came into the land, the people that were residing there were also of Igala descent, and so they have a lot of Igala influences from there. So the likelihood that Obosi also has that is very high, because Obosi is literally right next to Onitsha as well as Asaba. So for them, the Igala people I highly doubt Igala were not residing in Obosi when they were residing on Onitsha, and they were residing in Asaba as well. So that's something I wanted to mention. Anyway, that's it.
Okay, so I want to make mention of that Asaba. We are talking about Nebisi.
Yeah, the founder. Yeah, their founder. He's Igala, and I think Newi. I know he's Igbo. His mom is Igbo. I believe it's Newi.
That is what I want to correct. Some people we call Igala were Igbo people who are living in that side, but we call them Igala because of that mix-up, right? So his father is from, we call them Igala, of course. Anybody in that area, we call them Igala, whether Igbo or not. So far you live there. And that is the misinformation I want to correct now with this receipt. That some people we call Igala are not Igala, they were Igbo. Okay, now the mother is from Njenje in Anambra State. So there is kind of inheritance because the father is not from that area. So he was being pushed. Like he was not given any inheritance. That was when he now left and across the river. He now stayed there. That place called not Asaba, it's just only go Asaba. That place called it another name before Ahaba. Before Ahaba, there's another name before Ahaba, but just within that time. So that was when he lived there and formed the place we later called Asaba today. So now the same history. There's a migration I want to talk about. I don't know. Maybe in next subsequent this now we'll mention it. I will mention that the place these people migrated from. If I can search where I wrote it somewhere.
Okay.
Maybe you can. I want to mention the one of those in Onitsha. Those that lived in Onitsha before this.
We'll leave that for another time. Let's just focus on the Igala people. Sorry, on the Igbos in Kogi, Igbos of Kogi State today. Yeah.
Okay. Quickly, Uche, just also to mention that there's likely a mix-up between tribes and territories. So, a migration from, say, quote unquote, Igala country land does not equate to the migrants being Igala people, right? So it does also rule out that possibility. And just as also you'd also see most other groups that trace their origin to the Benin Kingdom. Yes, that is the case, but the people in the Benin Kingdom were not just Benis. So we had the Benis, B-I-N-I, and there were also other tribes in the kingdom at that time. And then there was the mass exodus that saw a number of tribes that lived in the kingdom, living in the kingdom. And also, it's a similar situation you also find in that Igala axis. And like has been corroborated by the Ata, that there's been migration when the people moved over from the Ukari region to that part. They met people from diverse places, Yoruba, Igbo. So people in those places are people from also different tribes as well. So let's not always confuse that you come from a particular location to mean you are of the predominant tribe in that location.
Thank you very much for this.
Yeah, thank you. That's very fine. So once again, I want to thank our resource person Maazi Okoro for devoting his time to this course. Please, I wish to also appeal to us. He didn't ask me to do this, but I have to really say this because I knew when he went for this particular program and I knew how long it took him and all the while we were in communication, sleeping in hotels and the rest of them. He's not being sponsored by anyone. Nobody's bankrolling him. Now, apologies to Femi Fani Kayode. So this is something that he does because he feels the gods have really called him into this to do it. So he has this sense of obligation to us to really help us discover ourselves more. So please, if you have any sort of encouragement or anything to really help in funding this, please, we appeal to you to reach out to him or to me or to Maazi Akuchie that is here so that we can explore how we can support this his great work that he's doing. He's been to so many other communities and he still has planned to go to other places to really explore some of these gray areas and to present us with a verifiable, authoritative body of evidence about Igbo and the people of Igbo. So please, let's reach out. Then again, he also has a website that is fully dedicated to Igbo language teaching and everything, especially for those in the diaspora or for those that are born in other places in Nigeria that can't speak Igbo. He has really made it in such a way that it's so easy that if you enroll in his program online, if you go to www.igbotic.net, you have quite a whole lot of, you'll be swimming in an array of information and teachings on Igbo language and culture. Remember, we owe our children this because we did not borrow this land from our fathers. We inherited it from our sons. We did not inherit this land from our fathers. We borrowed it from our sons. So it's our duty to teach our sons and for them to even to teach the children of their sons too about our culture, our language, and other Ejiriman and Igbo. Please let us all do that. Then again, too, we are trying to come up with a little welfare program for our Igbo brothers in Benue State. So will be calling us soon to brainstorm and to see how we can raise funds to do some community projects for them because our people in Igbos in Benue State, they are passing through a lot. We had so many of them coming the other day to speak to us about what they are passing through. Why they're not being welcome much in Benue State. They even tell them to go to, they don't even give them things like certificate of local government of origin. They will tell them to go to Ebonyi State. When they are fully carved into Benue State, they pay their taxes in Benue State, they do everything. So they lack in so many things, representation in government, and nobody's helping or doing any particular projects in their own places. So we are thinking of coming up with maybe community projects, maybe sinking a borehole or something like that to really tell them, yes, we are our brothers, we also recognize this and our redemption will definitely be total because we have this Igbo philosophy of Onyanga and one near, and that is what we wouldn't want to do. So ladies and gentlemen, I think we've come to the end of today's session on Igbos of Kogi State. Yeah, before you do that, then Maz, I think we may have to hold this room again. And if it will be possible, if we can get 2 or 3 or 4 indigenes there who can download Clubhouse too, so that we can also have interaction as we did with Igbos of Benue State. That would be very nice, so that we can also have an interaction with them and know what it feels like. And that would also lend so much credence to the history you have taught us today. So, Ifeoma, you have something to say before we close. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's something he said that Maazi mentioned that caught my attention, and it may come out a little bit controversial, but I find it weird, not weird per se, but I find it very daunting because he mentioned, I think someone asked them, are there any representation of the government within those communities in which he he met the Igbo community in which he met in Kogi State, and he replied, no, there is really no evidence of any government assistance or any government anything within that territory. Ironically enough, that's the same thing that the Igbo in Benue says. They said when they came here to actually talk about their experience. And I remember my cousin also telling me that's the same experience that they're going through in Delta State. Likewise, an old friend of mine who's from Edo State, she also said the exact same thing, that those of them that are in Edo State, that they pretty much fighting to even just keep their identity, because mostly they now, like, the state itself is trying to annex them and make them into quote unquote Benin people. I will never forget when she told me that. And I see this as it's becoming a pattern now, because even the Igbos, at least the one that proud to identify themselves as Igbo in River State, are also going through the exact same situation. It seems like every Igbo person outside of that southeast area is currently at war, trying to fight to actually, one, hold on to their identity, but also two, being disregarded and misrepresented by the state government of that state. Ironically enough, within the southeastern region, you don't see that for those communities that are in there that aren't Igbo. Like, for example, in Anambra, you have the Igala people. The Igala are well represented in Anambra state government. And when you go to that region, when you go to their territory within that state, you see the representation of the government there. And in fact, more so than some villages that are Igbo. And the same way in Edo State, not in Edo, in Enugu State, the Idioma there, as well, I forgot the other tribe, but the Idioma there and the other non-Igbo tribe there, I forgot their name, apologies on that. They are well represented within their territory. But ironically enough, every Igbo people outside of Igbo land, it's like they are fighting for their own survival within that territory. Am I the only one that find this very ironic and very weird? I don't know. It's a pattern I'm starting to notice, because I actually read an article not too long ago of the Akwa Igbos, the Indo-Ki Igbos within that territory, also fighting to, for one thing, just even hold on to their identity as well. It's becoming, I don't know. I just wanted to mention, because it's a pattern I'm noticing with all of this discussion and all the articles I've been reading. It seems to be a pattern that I'm beginning to notice, and it's becoming very problematic in my opinion. But anyway, that's all I wanted to mention. It's just that similarity is shocking to me. That's all I wanted to mention.
Thank you very much, Ify. I mean, this is where we need Ohanes and Igbo to play a role. This is also where we need our governors. The governors in the southeast states, at least for a start, the states where you have majority Igbos. This is also where we need them to sit down with their brother governors and also have a discussion. This is what Ohanes and Igbo should help us to do. But we'll get there. Max, you have the floor.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you. Thank you, everybody on stage. Bless everybody. Maazi Chukwugozie Gidalo, Oluna Aladiroizi. So I wanted, because based on the villages or communities or areas that Igbo people are, mostly domiciled in Kogi, even though we know that it's a frontier villages and everything, but I just feel that if I equate it or compare it to what is obtainable in Lagos, here I am, you would see that less than just about 25% or less of that of a local government will actually produce a councillor. So I strongly believe that the issue, maybe when next you visit there, try to see that between 5 to 10 communities or villages, if they do actually have an Igbo councillor who is representing his own people, or did they succeed in bringing a councillor from the outside, and give it to them, because it's actually the most likely situation here, considering that every day by day, Nigerian state wants to make Igbo people smaller, both in physical and psychologically. So, because I don't expect that the eyes of the government will go more than a councillorship position. And I will also be surprised that they do have a councillor. But I think that is worth it that we know, because if Igbos could count of 3 or 4 clustered villages around each other as a frontier villages, they should have a councillor. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Mark.
And also, very quickly, Maazi, yeah, thank you very much. I also wanted you to, when in consolidating this research that you just did, to take into account the varying origin claims of the Igala people. I know there is a Benin origin of Igala, which points to Max Exodus from Benin Kingdom. I know there is a Yoruba origin. I know there is an Igbo origin which links them to Nri or Iri. And I also know there is the Jukun origin, which is usually the story you would hear when you go to the ruling class, when you go to the palace. So they would always tell you they came from Ukari in the Jukun area. And then also there's also the Oriental origin, which links them to Egypt as well. So I would also like you to take account of these varying origins in trying to consolidate the position of the Igbo aborigines or the Igbo indigenes in that particular region of Southern Igala. So I'd just like to mention that to you.
I just want to say that this is just one of them. Because this, what I want to do now is all these boundaries, Edo, rivers, Akwa Ibom, Cross River. In fact, as we finish this Kogi now, we're going to another place. That's what I want to do. So I want to cover all of them. I want to cover it all. So I'm bringing all the information because this is not the issue of what they wrote in the book. Or anybody can type on it on the internet. So I want to go there, stay within the community, discuss with them, find out one on two. So the Kogi is just one. So we are still doing more. We just finished one now. So still, even Benue, I'm still going back to Benue and find more things because there are a lot of things I need to discover in Benue, which is just, and we have to document all these things for the future use. We have to document them. So that is it.
Yeah, thank you very much, Massive, for your work. Okay, Aburi, let me take your closing submission.
Okay. I was just going to say this brings to the fore the necessity of leadership or Igbo being interested in the leadership structure or people who seek for political office in the Southeast. Now, I remember the story of when the people of Benue, that's the Igbo-speaking part of Benue, was attacked. And I think it was the border community between Benue and Ebonyi. And so they were calling on Dave Umai, and he said, well, those people are not part of us. See, that's the disadvantage, or that's the evil. That's what state creation has done to us. State creation has, put up this divide, whether it's real or imaginary, but there's this divide, this mental divide that has been forcefully put into our heads. And we are now seeing our brothers as not our brothers. So it's something that all of us have to, it's something that we need to be able to, there's a failure of leadership in the Southeast. That is certain. That is certain. And that cannot be discountenance. But we as the people, pending when we can, rectify this leadership failure in the Southeast, I think it is important, very important, that we try to reach out to our people in Kogi, in Benue. Of course, Ohanese is supposed to do this, yes. So through Ohanese, if we can put in a little effort to try to exert pressure on Ohanese, then also we as the people, we can also come together and also demonstrate leadership qualities. We can try in our own way. We've seen what our people in Benue and in Kogi, they are still strongly holding on to their Igbo-ness. And we can try in our own way to make them feel like, yes, they are still part of us. But there's something that we are planning. Initially the first room was for the Igbos of Benue. But we're trying to see what we can do for the Igbo community in Benue. It's something that we've been speaking about for a long time. We've had discussions about it. And just to let everyone in the audience know that we're trying to come up with projects that we can carry out in Benue, under the Igbo, something under the banner of the Igbo, whatever it is, whether it's Ohanese or just under the banner of Igbo, just to make our brothers in Benue know that we remember them,
that we know that they exist, and that we feel their pain, and their pain is ours, and that we've not forgotten them, and that this is our own way of saying that, yes, the Nigerian state might have balkanized you into another region, but we still know that you are ours, and that we are yours, and at the appropriate time, we will unite, and that this is just a gesture from us for you to know that we are together. So just to let everyone in the room know that at some very soon in the coming days, we will let all the Igbo groups on Clubhouse, of course, know that this is what Igbo intend to do for their brothers in Benue, and that we will solicit from help from everyone, to come together to ensure that this project comes to reality. I'm sure all of us will be proud of ourselves and when we've seen that we've been able to touch the lives of our brothers that the Nigerian state has intentionally balkanized and taken away from us and put into another region in a bid to reduce our land size and our numerical strength. But the Nigerian state will not succeed. We will ensure that the Igbo race is united. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aburi. Let's have a closing submission from Maazi Akuchie.
Thank you, Uche. Great job moderating. And once again, thank you, Maazi Wunaya, a friend and brother. And also to all the speakers here that asked questions, thanks for coming, and our listeners, thank you. So my closing remark will be this. To piggyback on what Aburi just said, we want to start. I don't want to call out Hanaeze. There was something Chimi said the last time the last time we had a conversation about the Indigenous way. It appears, from what I got from Chimi, it appears that Hanaeze's hands are tied. They have been asked to back off due to some political reasons, not to antagonize the existing order. Right after the demarcation of Igbo, where our brothers and sisters found themselves in those states. So I don't know how much Hanaeze can do. However, that shouldn't stop us from doing what we have to do or can do in our own little, way. And to what my brother Abure just said, yes, we can do this. I think it may be in the interest of, I know Wunaya has an interest to go into Benue to carry out more investigation. I mean, I know what a number of person did was actually very good. It was an eye opener. His findings were awesome. Wunaya, might actually explore more, ask more questions perhaps, and then we'll have more information. Then we can now go from there. Which now brings me to this. These things can have these things, and I hope you all enjoy this time, which comes to the which I'm going to say that it comes with resources. The young man spent a lot. I actually followed it's kind of himself Waka Waka. I mean, that's where he is. And like supporting in the little way we can. I just saw a number of person just join, a bit late, but so we can support him. I know when you've not set up your Clubhouse account to receive donations. Any of us here that knows how to do that can help him. I don't know how to do it. Maybe we can work our way around it so that whatever support you get goes directly to you instead of any one of us here. I don't mind assisting, but it would be ideal since Clubhouse has that feature. That would be very much ideal to set it up that way. Anyone gives you anything, goes straight to you. Young man needs support so we can at least start knowing what we don't know. And the little we can, anyhow, $1, or any amount you can, that will go a long way. And he does. And also, Tomaso Bunaya, Nigeria is a very unsafe place. So while he's also going, we also need to put him in our prayers because we just don't want anything to happen to him. The guy's a young man dear to my heart. So thank you all for coming down, and I will look forward to more conversations like this and from Maazi and perhaps someone else again. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Maazi Akuchie. Please, anybody that has anything for Maazi Obunaya to help the project, not just for him, to help this project, because even as he's speaking to us, he's in the field. I mean, he keeps launching in hotels for months and to do all these things. Please, whatever thing you have or whatever you want to do, you can back channel me. Then I can forward you the account details as well for you to maybe pay in, or you can back channel him, or you can back channel Mazi. Let us support our own. Then as a group too, I think we also need to have a discussion when we are planning out all these welfare packages that we want to do. We also think out how to really help raise funds on Igbo research. Research costs a whole lot of money. My PhD research was sponsored by a drug company, and I know how much they paid to my university for my studies. So research costs money. So he's doing a very huge research, and it really needs money. So we have to really help and support him the little way we can. For those who are raising their hands, I'm sorry, we may not be able to bring us up again. Maazi has been talking for a long while, and we need to come to an end now. So please bear with us, please, those raising their hands. So in conclusion, this is the Igbo Nation, as I said, where we meet and discuss any and everything concerning the Igbo. Is the melting point for all ideas about Igbo, our people, our heritage, our ancestry, our culture, our tradition, our norms, our values, our ethos, and Igbo. Please feel free to join us. Click on the greenhouse icon, join the club, follow the moderators so that we can bring you in, and join us in our programs because we have things backed up. So I especially invite us to on the 16th where we celebrate the feast of Chino Achebe. We'll celebrate his posthumous 91st birthday, and we are going to have different speakers speak on different aspects of this great Igbo thinker and philosopher and writer. So feel free to join us and be part of what you are doing. In Igbo Nation, nobody is too big to receive nor too poor to give. Everyone has something to say and to contribute, and we have quite a whole lot to learn from one another. And that's why everybody's input is making our time. It's been very hard, network and all issues.
You forgot Okosisi
Okay, yeah, that's still on the 16th as well. Yeah, so we also discussed about Okosisi, Right Honorable Zik Nnamdi Azikiwe, the Zik of Africa. So you can see that in Igbo we've really blessed humanity with eminent personalities. So it also tallies with Chino Achebe's day, and we are all going to celebrate these great men. So I encourage us all to really join as we learn from our past, as we learn from our ancestors, so that we can move the Igbo Nation to the next stage where these guys left it. So I wish to thank everyone. I thank you, Maazi. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you for sharing from what you've done in the field. We are grateful to you, and we're also grateful to Njenje Media for streaming this live and making it to be out there on YouTube, so that even those that couldn't join would listen, or those that didn't join early would have the opportunity to listen to all our discussions today. So I wish to thank everybody, all the speakers, all those that have asked questions. You've enriched our discussion tonight. We remain grateful, and we are better off as human because you are here. And to those in the audience, thank you for being with us. Follow the Igbo Nation, and we hope to see you again very, very soon. So we'll be ending now, and I would say, may God bless and keep you. So I'll end as I count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So those on the stage, you can tell us bye-bye.